This image gets a 5 out of 5 for earnings potential in my opinion. Let's find out why. Today I'm taking a look again at newly uploaded images at Adobe Stock and saying which ones I think have great potential for earnings and which ones make big mistakes. I've been doing Microstock for 16 years now, and I can tell you there are 4 factors that are essential for success at Adobe and the other agencies. These are the things I'll be judging each image on today. First, does the topic or theme have high commercial value? Are they in demand with customers? Second, is the image well executed? Does it scream its theme in a way that jumps off the search results page? Third, is the title optimized? Ideally, you should write the title out before you do your keywords. The perfect title will have about a dozen words or 70 characters, and each of those words would also be a vital keyword that a customer might search to find the image. Don't waste these valuable characters in the title on words like the, and, or of, and don't make it a complete sentence. And also, you don't want to repeat words over and over. That's spamming and could get your files rejected. Fourth, are your keywords optimized? This is why you write the title first. Your first 10 or so keywords should also be the words from your title. This advice comes straight from Adobe. The first 10 keywords get the search engine boost in its algorithm, and if you're not front-loading your keyword list with your most important words, those the customer is likely to type to find an image like yours, you're throwing away a huge opportunity to attract buyers. So to start out, I'm going to do a blank search on Adobe, and we're going to look at all kinds of images today, AI generated as well as traditional photography and illustrations. No matter what type of content you're uploading, the same rules apply. Be ready to take a lot of notes. I'm going to give you some essential information on what to do and what not to do. We're going to look at newly uploaded images, and it's going to show us a mix of things that are done right and some things that are done wrong. I will do a video in the future where I look at the most downloaded images and explain why they're so successful, but today we're looking at new uploads, which will show us a range of potential success and failure. And if I pull up one of your images and point out some negatives, I apologize, but hopefully I'm giving you some advice that will help increase your future sales. Okay, looking for a theme that I know to be a high commercial value theme. Here are business people in a conference room. The title here is Professional Meetings, Business Team Members in an Elegant Office Meeting, Generative AI. So you don't necessarily need to use generative AI in your headline. It is called out here when you check the box when you're uploading. So let's go down to the keywords. Viewing all of them. There's a good number here, so making good use of the allowable 49. Teamwork, brainstorming, business, meeting together, people are some of the first keywords. A few of those are also in the title. These do seem to be important ones that somebody would search for. I think the image is interesting with the sun coming in and getting a kind of a blurred, distorted effect around here. I do think this is, again, high commercial value topic. The title isn't bad. Could have been done better. Could have taken out generative AI. And the keyword is a good use of keywording. So I would call this a 4 out of 5. Let's look at these DNA strand letters. Creative logo icon DNA ladder G. So it's spelling letter incorrectly. So assuming this person entered the title indicating they were using the English language, they misspelled letter. So that is going to make it more difficult for somebody to find this image if they're looking for something with the letter G. So icon, arrow, symbol, vector signs. I don't see the word letter here. And I don't see the letter G. The G could be a keyword on its own. So if somebody were typing letter G, yes, the title would help them find it. But of course, the letter is misspelled here. I believe this kind of iconography is something that is in high demand. It's a unique visual style, has DNA. So there may be buyers out there who want somehow DNA strand mixed in with a letter. So this could be a unique visual style that could create a niche for this contributor. However, the lack of really specific keywording and titling correctly, however, those missteps mean that I can't really give this higher than a 3. Let's look at some of these floral backgrounds here. Pattern, flower, floral, spring, blossom, illustration, vector, fabric, textile, design, leaf, leaves. So a decent number of keywords in the title. They should also be represented first in the list of keywords. They're not. I think that's a miss. I think this could have been optimized a bit more with the keywords, putting some of these same good words that the title is written well, but those should have also been the first words that pop up in the keywords to give it that extra boost, like I was pointing out, that Adobe tells you they give you if you put your most important words as the top 10 in your list of keywords. So a miss there, but overall, they've got a good list of keywords listed out here. This is also something that looks like it's a seamless pattern, and that would be something worth calling out here. If you can see how this purple leaf here connects, it could complete the image here if you laid it side by side and did it in a repeating pattern. That's called a seamless pattern, and that could be called out here since it is something that gives it extra value for the customer, and not saying that it's seamless here is a big miss. I don't see it in the title or in the keyword. So again, something that gives it some good value. I can see this being attractive to a customer, but not calling that out, not using the keywords in the best way possible. And there's going to be a lot of competition for images like this. I'd have to give this a 3. Let's look at this purple plant. Art, photography, nature, landscape, field, lavender, purple, blue sky. So the title is written out as if it were a list of keywords. I think it could have been written a little better, a little more naturally, and not just looking like a list of words. The image itself is attractive. It's got nice copy space, blank, negative space here that the customer could put some text into. Like I was mentioning, these same keywords in the title should be the very first ones in the list of keywords, and a few of them are interesting. Lavender is not even used in the list of keywords, but a variation on it, perhaps a Latin term meaning lavender, is there. But this keyword list could have been built up quite a bit more. So I think there's value here for a customer, but the title and the list of keywords leave something to be desired. I'd have to give this a 3 as well. Some potential value, but it's another example of a contributor creating something good with generative AI, but not keywording it and not titling it in a way that's going to help the most customers possible find it. So they're leaving money on the table. Abstract wallpaper of rainbow with clouds like balloons, pastel kids panorama banner, generative AI. Again, you don't have to have generative AI in the title. I think you could have put a few more words in there. Blue is a dominant color. I would have put that in there since some people may want something with blue and pink. Those could have been both called out in the title instead of saying generative AI. Let's take a look at the keywords. A good list of keywords here, so they're taking into account all the different things a customer might type into the search engine to find what they're looking for. But are the first 10 keywords the most important ones here? Ribbon, curvy, ray, spectrum, unique, impulse? No, they're not. The very first keywords in this case should be rainbow, clouds, balloons, colorful. So an interesting, attractive image here. There will be a lot of competition for images like this out there, and not the greatest title, decent title, but could have been better. And the keywords themselves need to be optimized a little better, putting those most important ones up front. This one, I think, again, is a 3. This is interesting. A woman or girl looking at a wall of numbers. Let's see what this is about. Young school kid with backpack is standing near numbers, math banner, panorama, generative AI. So again, generative AI does not need to be in the title. I'm not sure exactly what the image is communicating here. It would have been more interesting and appealing if she was perhaps on the other side of the numbers and you could see her face looking at them. This is fairly disengaging just to see the back of her head in a wall of numbers with some sparks or fireworks. So I'm not sure what this image is saying. Now, the title itself is fairly descriptive. I don't think it's really conceptually pointing out the most important words. And then the keywords themselves, the top 10, are not matching in terms of the most marketable concepts here. I'm going to have to give this a 1. Sticking with the education theme here, school classroom with wooden furniture without kids at university banner panorama. Generative AI. So title isn't bad, very descriptive, but again, it's not matching. The first 10 keywords listed here are not the most important ones. I think education could be something that shows up in the title and in the list of keywords. An attractive image, I can see this being used as a background for something, but the keywording itself is going to hold it back. I'm going to say this is a 3. Here's an interesting image of a woman in an orange sweater holding up a glass of what is perhaps orange juice. Let's see what it says. Capture the essence of sustainability and eco-consciousness with an artistic portrayal of women nurturing a small tree under the sun. AI generative technology enhances the vivid colors and texture. So this, to me, looks like a title clearly written by AI and written poorly. And the fact that the contributor here did not edit it to make it more accurate, really streamline it, optimize it, really takes points off significantly. Because if you look at what it's saying here, an artistic portrayal of women, you don't need artistic portrayal. Those are words nobody's going to type into the search field. And women, no, this is a single woman or girl. You could use both of those in the title. Nurturing a small tree under the sun. I don't see nurturing. I don't see a small tree. I don't see a sun. This looks like it's full of mistakes. I think it was carelessly done, probably just done with AI and not edited. So let's look here at what the keywords say. So the keywords, they diverge quite a bit from what the title says, capture the essence of sustainability. The keywords are actually much better. Woman holding bottle, fresh orange juice, white background. Well, that's not a white background. Close-up drink, healthy lifestyle, refreshing. So I think this image itself could be high commercial value. It's attractive with the orange of the sweater and the orange juice itself. So there could be commercial value there, but because of the title and the keywording isn't bad, but the title itself, I think, sabotages its value. I'm going to give this a 2. Let's look at these cards. Close-up of a hand holding a losing hand of cards with a foreclosure notice in the background depicting the threat of bankruptcy. I'd have to say this is a poorly written, perhaps written by AI title for a number of reasons. This is not a losing hand of cards. I would say this is a winning hand. If you've got 3 aces and perhaps even a 4th, you can't tell there. I don't see a foreclosure notice in the background. I don't see the threat of bankruptcy. I see somebody about to win a hand of poker. I can tell he's got an ace of diamonds out here. He's about to win a jackpot. He's not facing foreclosure and the threat of bankruptcy. The words themselves are marketable concepts. The image does not reflect those. Hand, for the keywords, hand, card, losing, notice, bankruptcy, threat, background. So the contributor here actually did put most of his title words into the first 10 of the keywords. So that's following good best practice there. However, those keywords are actually inaccurate and not depicting what the image is about. So if this was properly titled and keyworded, I could give this perhaps a 4, even as high as a 5, because it has a number of concepts in there. It's just not calling them out correctly and make it hard for people to find this image. So if they stumble upon it almost by accident, I could see somebody buying it, but it's almost by luck that somebody would find it. So I don't think I could give it more than a 2. So here we have another generative AI image. A matchstick ignites its flame dancing amidst a colorful abstract backdrop. So I don't really see much of a flame there. It's an interesting image, very abstract. It's hard to imagine what a customer might do with this, though. Fire, flames, light, smoke, space. I definitely don't see a flame there, but it does match somewhat some of the words that are in the title. But again, conceptually, I think theme-wise, there isn't much here that would attract a buyer. As far as execution, I don't think it's going to be very appealing to a customer. Title and keywords are okay, but still, I don't think this rises above a 1. Let's take a look at this group of medical professionals here in uniform. Group of medical students at the university, generative AI. So you've got 5 women here. I would even include that in here. 5 female medical students, 5 women medical students at university, training to be doctors or nurses. All those things could have been added to the title, dropping generative AI, and you'd be around that 70 character mark, and it would be much more descriptive, make it easier for people to find the image. So student, medic, nurse, medicine, internship, young, health, doctor. I don't see women. I see woman. I think you'd want to say several women or 5 women here in the keywords. Somebody might want an image that shows, in particular, 5 women, and you want to put 5 in your keywords to make it easier for someone to find that. In general, I think the concept itself here is high commercial value, young professionals, medical students. I think I could see a lot of customers wanting an image like that, but it's going to face a lot of competition, and the keywords and title don't necessarily make it easy for someone to find it. Keywording isn't bad. It looks pretty extensive, but not in the right order and missing a few, in my opinion. So I would give this a 3. Let's look at this female business person. Young businesswoman giving thumbs up in urban city environment. So not a bad title. I think in general, business women, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, women in business seems to be a hot concept in general, and I would say that this gets points for capturing that fairly well. Giving thumbs up, it's very emotive, looking straight ahead, making eye contact, a big smile. So this does a bunch of things right. It's got a business environment in the background, so conceptually good in terms of this theme, and execution not bad. Good job, AI. Now let's take a look at the keywords. I would say happy woman, thumb up, urban city, businesswoman. So matching a lot of the same title keywords here with the regular keywords, and that's a good best practice to use. So good on this contributor. Now, however, iPad. I don't see an iPad in this image. I'm not sure where that came from. So this might be keywords written by AI should have been edited a little better. Yeah, tablet and goggles. So some junk in here in the keywords. I was about to give this one a 5, but I'm afraid there is some spammy words that aren't reflecting that I think could get this person in trouble if they do this on a regular basis. So I would give this a 4, almost a 5, but not quite. Portrait of cute young couple covered in colorful colors while celebrating and playing Holi. Holi being a Hindu festival, good to include that in the keywords. I might have that included Hindu and Hindi in the keywords to make it helpful to find. I see festival. I don't see holiday. So I think those are 3 misses. Hindi, Hindu, holiday would have been good to add. But good, something that we don't see enough of is people anticipating that some customers may want to use an image in a vertical aspect ratio. So it's good that the contributor uploaded it in that aspect ratio. Perhaps there's another one similar that's horizontal, as long as it's not cropping the same image down to vertical. That's something that could get you rejected, perhaps banned if you did a lot of. Adobe doesn't want simply different crops of the same image, but if you're uploading really different images that are in vertical style versus others in the same theme in a horizontal style, that's a good best practice to follow. In terms of the keywords, they're not bad. It's an attractive image. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 3. Elegant lily of the valley bouquet on a textured blue background, ideal for spring themes, serene, and artistic presentation. So again, a title here probably written by AI, but not bad. The image itself is attractive and lots of space for text and copy. I think that could have been called out here in the title instead of artistic presentation. Those are 2 words that a customer is not probably going to use in a keyword search, but they may type up text space or copy space, and that would have been better to include in the title than artistic presentation. Let's take a look at the keywords. A number of them do match the words that are in the title, so that is good. It's fairly extensive here. Looking for text space or copy space, I think that's a miss. That should have been put into the keywords. I see isolated. That is not isolated. What people mean when they put isolated in their keywords is that the background typically is solid white and the image is starkly almost cut out right out of the white. This is not an isolated image, so that should not apply in the keywords. But otherwise, it's an attractive image. I can see this being of value, but there's going to be a lot out there. The keywords and title, if you really want something that's going to stand out from another number of images that are just like it, you really need to have optimized title and keywords. This almost is there, but because of the competition and not quite having it just right, I'll give this a 3. So after looking at a screen full of AI-generated images, it is very striking when you shift over to look at just photography. You can tell there's a big difference in style. Let's take a look at this building. That's editorial only. So it's a specific actual property in real life. It's calling it out Cologne, Germany, March 14th. House, former headquarters of the Gestapo, and now a museum documenting the Third Reich, so very descriptive. So I would say it's not necessarily reflecting the same keywords from the title in the list of keywords themselves. I think that is a miss. I think it is missing words like Gestapo. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is simply an alphabetized list. So don't fall into this mistake of alphabetizing your list and uploading it that way. You should be ordering it with the most important keywords up front. So this meets a specific need. However, it could be a little hard for someone to find it since the keywords aren't as optimized as they could be. I will give this a 3. Okay, here's a conceptual image. It's an actual photograph, not AI. Scattered gold coins, an alarm clock with space customizable for text or ideas. Copy space. So here is something that I've been calling out the other images for not doing. They did it right here. This is, customizable for text or ideas, copy space. I think you could drop out some of the for and or and with, but I think that's a good best practice to include that in your title if you indeed have that copy space. So here they're calling it up front, business, copy space, space, empty, blank, office. So I'm going a little heavy with the empty space for copy here in the front. I don't think you need quite so much, but they do have money and coin and gold in those first 10 keywords, so pretty positive there. However, there are going to be a lot of images like this to be competing with, so pretty saturated and decent execution, but the style itself doesn't jump out as being fantastic by any means, but decent titling and keywording. I'm going to call this a 3. So looking at this image of out of office, text on yellow cover background, business and out of office concept. So you don't need out of office twice in the title. It's descriptive, but you could have used that for different words here. I think this is interesting in a couple ways. I've been an advocate of putting text in images. However, it really does need to be stylishly done, not just flat with a very basic looking font. I think this has very limited appeal aesthetically. I think it could have been done in a much more stylized way, and it's really not natural to have a hand pointing at a wall that says out of office. If you're truly out of the office, you wouldn't be there to point at it anyway. So I think this is very awkward for a number of reasons. I think execution could have been better. The titling, I think you would want out of office very high up, very few first words in the list of keywords. So the keywords look fairly thorough, but just not in the proper order, emphasizing the most important ones on top. I'm probably going to have to give this a 1. Here's another example of using text in a photograph. I think this is a little bit better. It's a little more natural. The text looks appropriate on the notepad. And this might be an image that somebody wants to actually convey to their own audience. Notice period text on sticky note with hand on blue cover background, resignation concept. So a number of concepts here: communication, resigning from a job, giving notice, a notice period. Let's see here. The first keywords are achievement, advertising, agency, agreements, applying, appraisal. So it looks like it's alphabetical. That's a mistake. You should have giving notice, period, resign from job. Those should be the first things up there. Notepad, pen, hand. Incorrectly keyworded, at least in terms of ordering them in the right way. A decent concept. Execution with the shadowing on the hand. It's a little bit drab, so I'm going to have to give this a 2, unfortunately. So a number of these perhaps by the same person. Stay focused. I think this is someone maybe where English isn't their first language. This should say stay focused. And so it makes it a little bit more challenging to sell this one if it's really not done in a natural way in terms of the language. Got focus here twice, probably thinking that that's going to give them an extra boost when really it could get you called out for spamming. Sharpened, stay, envelope, paper, notepad. Focus really is a key element of this image, and I'm not even seeing it in the keywords. Let's take a look at some traditional illustrations now by clicking the appropriate filter here in the bar, closing it back up. So I have a feeling this is actually generative AI, and it just wasn't called out as such. So If that was the case with this person, I think I would go back and try to amend that if truly is generative and it's not called out as such. But let's take a look at it on its merits. An interesting, attention-grabbing image. Conceptually, I'm not sure what it's trying to say. Mask on the wall is all you get from the title. And let's look at what the keywords say. Mask, face, carnival, theater, art, vector illustration. If it is hanging on the wall, the word wall should be there as well, and I don't see it. So I think they're missing out on keywords. Conceptually, if there's a concept being described here, is it carnival? Is it some kind of a festive occasion that's trying to be conveyed? You need to call those concepts out, and I just don't see that being done here. So again, limited commercial appeal and title really lacking, as well as keywords. This is a 1. Here's a great example of something that I would give bonus points to for having multiple different high commercial value themes going on all at once. So it checks a number of boxes at the same time for potential customers for different reasons. It's a senior woman. It's an Asian woman, a woman in general, doing exercise, physical fitness, maybe perhaps losing weight, working out with a dumbbell, particular type of equipment. So I think all these are things that you could highlight in an image like this to capture customers who are looking for a number of different things, all in one image. So this is going to get high marks from me if it's doing everything right. So the title here, senior Asian woman, probably the most important keywords in this image, doing exercise with dumbbell. I think adding a few extra words like physical fitness, losing weight, regimen, those kind of words could give it even more ability to attract the right customers looking for those topics. Let's look and see if the keywords are done well. They are pretty extensive here, getting the right things. Elderly woman, senior, old, dumbbell, exercise. I think I want to see the word Asian up front here, or Chinese, Korean, Japanese. They're all kind of in the middle. I'm afraid I don't even see the word Asian in here. This is hitting really close to a 5 for me, but I think because of a couple misses there, also having blank copy space here for the buyer to put their own text here, it makes it even more attractive. It does look like this particular artist uploaded a number of these, all AI generated. Let's take a look at a few more. I think, well, good. I see one that's yellow. A lot of them are pink, but a few of them do have different color schemes, so that's good. It gives variety. Otherwise, if you got the same exact image over and over, you're simply cannibalizing your own sales. So this comes close to that with a number of images that are fairly similar. You've got couple different women here, so you don't know what's going to strike the customer as the best one, so it's good to give variety, but it's going a little bit overboard, I think. So the same artist here, different color scheme. Now you have a Caucasian woman doing exercise with dumbbell, senior. So again, hitting a lot of good points here, but I'd have to give it a 4 just for a few title and keyword misses, and but otherwise good job. So here's one also I think is going to come pretty close. Happy International Women's Day concept, 8th of March, 2024, greeting card, watercolor, painting silhouette of beautiful women and their diversity isolated on yellow. So some good things there and some not so good things there. And this is not isolated, but a number of good things here as well. International Women's Day, while it's passed for this year, that is no longer going to be giving it sales this year, but it might a year from now or years in the future. Watercolor painting silhouette of beautiful women and their diversity. Going down to look at the keywords, it's not as extensive as I think it could be. Women, National Day, March, watercolor painting silhouette. Diverse and diversity are ones that I would want to see in the top 10, perhaps even the top 2 here, to give it the best chance of finding the customer who is looking for this type of image. So well done, attractive, high commercial value concepts here. But keywording and titling, again, could be better. That seems to be what's tripping up a lot of people. I think people just need to hone those skills. I would give this a 4. Let's take a look at this dog breaking through a wall. A playful dog surprises by breaking the blue paper, creating a delightful and engaging scene. So a few good words there. I would maybe have him coming through a wall as well, even though it's hard to tell exactly what's going on there. Could be either. Delightful and engaging scene, I don't think are words that a customer would search with. I think you could have put a few different words in there. Dog, surprise, cuteness, joy, playfulness, curiosity, freedom, modern pop. So I think you would want to have paper and wall and blue, breaking through. Those should all be words that come into the first keywords there. It does have added value of having that copy space, like I pointed out before. Not every image needs to have copy space like this, but it does create some added value for the customer. It should be called out in the title and in the keywords when you do provide that. So I think it's attention grabbing. However, lots of dog images out there. Could have been keyworded and titled in a more optimized way to give it more chance of reaching customers. So I'll have to give this a 2. So here's another portrait of women for Women's Day. Generated AI. You don't need that in your title that's called out below. Portrait of beautiful, happy woman. It should be women, though you've got woman and women in there, so that's not bad. Celebrate festive event National Women Day. So a little bit off, I think. 102, I'm not sure what 102 is signifying here. That should not be the first keyword. It's pulled out up front because it's another alphabetized list of words. Diverse, I think diversity could have been perhaps the first word again here to give it more chance of reaching customers. But diversity, like I've pointed out in some of my other videos, is always in my top 10 for the past year or two. So very good commercial value with this image, but keywording and titling could be a bit better. I'm going to have to call this one a 3. Let's take a look at this one, see if it gets a little closer to the mark. 2 young college women in wheelchairs pose with their diverse classmates. So it is hitting a number of good concepts here. Women, wheelchairs, diversity, young. Let's look at how their keywords are called out. People, group, woman, student, school, business, education. Diverse and diversity should have been, again, called out as the first couple of words here to make it stand out more to customers. But a lot of good concepts here, as I called out in the other image, about you're hitting a number of different things at the same time. People with disabilities, young people, youth, diversity. Again, there'll be some competition for images like this with other contributors, and you got to make sure you get your titling and your keyword exact to give you the best edge as possible. So I'd have to give this one a 4. Could have been a 5 if they could have nailed the title and keywords a little bit better. So here's one that gets, I think, even a little bit closer to the goal. A group of happy Canadian people smiling, confident, diversity, inclusion, DEI. So I think there's a mix here of just about every type of mix you could think of. You got older, younger, black, white, and you've got Canadian here. So this gives it a little bit more specificity. There may not be any other images out there that are not only representing diversity of faces and ages, but also it's a group of Canadians that are diverse. So I think that while it eliminates a lot of potential customers, it makes it pretty unique in terms of the other images out there. So for keywords, group, happy people, smiling, confident, diversity, inclusion, Canadian just barely in the top 10. That should have been much higher on there to make sure it gives it that boost. The title is good. I think this one might have earned a 5 since it hit all of the key points in the top 10. I think maybe youth and older. So you got youth here, maybe older as well for the older person, but I don't think I'll hold it against it. This one comes pretty darn close. Let's call this one a 5. So we'll wrap it up there. We saw some diamonds in the rough that are probably going to do very well for those contributors. If you can keep in mind all the advice I just shared when you're creating your new content, you should be able to create all diamonds and no rough. And that's going to greatly increase your own earning potential. I'll share more tips like these in issues of my newsletter, so be sure you sign up for that. And until next time, I'll see you soon.